We gonna go live? Yeah. Pavel, you're a dude, man. Unbelievable. Guys, I'm not even ready. So my colleague already started up the webinar. Very good evening, guys. Am I actually in the screen? I think, is the camera okay, Pavel? Yeah, should be. Okay, well, I hope you all can see me clearly. I have this, I got my own computer here, my laptop here in front of me. It looks a bit grayish if I look at myself. So I'm like, something is really off, something is really wrong here tonight. But if you guys can see me, I'm all happy. What is it? It's the 4th of March and it's 8 p.m. and we're gonna talk about self-love. All right, so that is quite a topic, isn't it? My name is Erik. I'm your host tonight. Welcome to this 1 hour webinar. We're gonna try to keep it 1 hour. Many times we're exceeding the time and people, happily stay around. That's all great. So we're on Zoom here tonight. I see there's a bunch of attendees here tonight on Zoom, probably guys from Meetup or Eventbrite that have found this webinar. We're also on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we're also on YouTube. Now, I'm always starting with this question, and that is that the chat is wide open, so we can actually use the chat and just chat away and put our thoughts into the chat. So I'm inviting you to do so tonight. Makes it a bit interactive. It's nice. I'm always asking a lot of questions. I'm going to do that again tonight, just to see if we're tracking, if we're on the same page, and if the data actually comes across. Now, my background is Dutch. I'm from the Netherlands. I've been in Ireland now for about 3 years, and so I hope you bear with me. My accent might not sound as a proper English or proper Irish or American. So I hope that is acceptable. Yeah, I have a background in engineering and economics. Used to work for Caterpillar for a very, very long time. Used to be in sales, selling big equipment. Love that. But there was one thing that I couldn't erase from my system. That was that whenever I would see a customer, I always had something that I wanted to share that I thought that could really help the person in front of me. And that's like the red wire, the red thread through my existence, through my life. I love to share valuable information. So I love to read. I love to get that data and say, oh gosh, wow, that is seriously helpful. I'd like to pass that on to you tonight as well. Now, it's great. Let me see. There's a few comments here already. Let me see what's happening. So first of all, before I start reading, just a quick question to you. So I see that the sound is a bit echoey. Let me see if I can adjust that. Let me see if I can get this a bit better. I hope that will improve things. Nicolene says the image disappears all the time. Okay. Well, keep me informed, Nicolene. Has this improved in the meantime? Kyle says camera keeps glitching. Echo in the voice. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Maybe, all right. Okay, so let's see. I just shut down one microphone. Tell me, guys, is this better? Is this better? Is the echo gone right now? Okay, always great. That's better. That's better. That's better. That's better. Definitely better. Fantastic. Okay, guys. Happy days. Very good. So, quick question to all of you. Yeah. Please pop something in the chat. Where are you from, and why are you here tonight for this particular webinar? What was it that attracted you to attend this webinar? Please put something in the chat. If you're really slow with your keyboard, I would say, well, minimum, put where you're from, right? But if you're like a zing, fast person on the keyboard, maybe you want to type in some more. All right, so here we Let's see. Let's see who we have here tonight. We got Aneta here, fantastic. Angela, BJ, Kathy. We got Saren, Damini, Eli, Gabrielle, Karim, Kyle, Emerald, Madri. Okay, fantastic. Maya, Michelle, Natalie, Nicolene. All right, Richard, Robert, Samantha, Willem, Salembier. Willem, are you Dutch? That sounds like a very Dutch name, or Belgium. Okay, good. And then let's see, what else do we have here? Good. Okay, that's a lot of comments. All right, so from London, hate myself. All right, BJ, we definitely need to do something about that, man. That will, that's not a good condition to be in for a longer period of time, right? You'd agree with that. Well, good that you're here, yeah? I hope you're going to get some answers tonight. Okay, good. So Emerald is from Italy. Beautiful country. Need more self-love. Okay. Nicolene, unhappy. Okay, we need to handle that. Good. Gabriella from Belfast. Kyle, Northern Ireland. Here to discover my full potential. Robert from Manchester. Hate myself. Laugh out loud. You understand that is not so much. Well, you know what? Lol in Dutch means actually fun. It's actually quite interesting. Lol means fun. It's the same kind of acronym almost, right? So am I a bit upset? I'm from the UK, fed up with being stuck in the past trauma. Samantha, Bedfordshire, okay, would like to prioritize me, very good. Seren from Turkey, always love to learn more about self-improvement. Maya, fed up with mean people, okay. Damini, hi, my name is Damini, I'm from Dubai, okay, fantastic, wow. Live in London, I just recently went to the Emirates, beautiful there. I'm in this session because I lost myself in giving way too much of myself to my marriage, which is now the end. Okay, I want to channel that energy to myself and help myself with my career. Okay, beautiful guys. Okay, now, first off, so somebody came up with this idea, let's do a webinar on self-love, and I'm Dutch, and honestly, we don't really have this concept that I'm familiar with in Holland. We have self-esteem, right? Appreciation of self, and kind of like, you know, it's a bit of an attitude, and this is very Dutch. And people are from all over the world. When they come to Holland, they're like, oh, you guys are rude. You guys are so blunt and rude, you know, straight in your face. And there's a bit of an attitude. So self-love is a bit of a foreign concept for me, at least. But I looked and said, okay, you know, let's look it up. And I found a beautiful quote here, and it says the regard for one's own happiness or advantages. So I want to put that down on the board. So right away, it gives you an idea where we're going to go with this, because if you self-love, if that depends on your happiness and advantages, then it actually gives you an idea what we're striving for, right? What is it that we're going for? And I want to give you four very, very basic reasons tonight why we are not attaining this. And basically you want to go into like, well, what can you do that you do attain that, right? So now one of the first things, happiness is an interesting first topic, I would say, because it's got everything to do with goals. Now, let's say we got Joe here. And Joe knows exactly what goals he has in life. In other words, Joe's got direction, right? He wants to have his own business, or he wants to be an IT programmer, or he wants to be a nurse or a doctor. But Joe knows what he wants. Joe simply knows what he wants. And if we look at goals, or let's say if we look at life, let's just have a look at life itself. You would see that life is an accumulation of goals, right? It would be like a timeline where you would set goals and try to achieve these goals consecutively, or perhaps even at the same time. That is basically what life is about. If you look at life in itself, you would say, you're constantly setting different goals and you're trying to achieve them. And when you achieve these goals, you'll find happiness. And it might be just as simple as just getting the latest jeans, or you're just running to a shop, you find the jeans, gosh, it just cost me 20 quid, but it's absolutely a jeans that I love. Or you've been saving up money and you're finally able to get your plane ticket and fly to Dubai or whatever place you want to go to, but you achieved that goal. Now, I got a quick question for you. Have you ever met somebody who clearly knew what he wanted in life, what he wanted to achieve, who clearly knew his goals? Have you ever met such a person, or have you ever met such people? Can you think of one or two? Just pop something in the chat, please. All right. Yes, my brother. Okay. That's Maya, yeah? All right, good. Now, thank you, Maya. Okay, Damini. Yes, I could say I was one of those people before I got married. It's a very, very interesting comment. So toward the end of the webinar, you might actually recognize something there as to what happened in your marriage that actually pulled you down majorly. All right, Ileana, a long time ago. Good. Thank you, Ileana. Okay, BJ. Yes, I'm that person, but I have anxiety. All right, cool. Not cool, but thank you for the answer. I get you. All right, so now, in the absence of goals, we get another picture. We would not get Joe having direction. We would get Joe going in all kinds of directions. And here you see the two patterns of behaviors in people. You see those people who actually have direction and they have goals and they're actually making it in life, at least to the degree that in comparison they're much more making it than the people who do not have any direction. And it's kind of logical, because when you have direction, you can give it power, because it goes with your knowingness of what it is that you want. Whereas here, there's no knowingness. So the person is just going with the winds like a leaf. Now, very, very key to understand, and that's what we're going to look at tonight. These goals, of course, can be bogged. They can't be blunted. Yeah? They can be bogged, they can be blunted. So, but the first conclusion here is, in order to attain some happiness at all, at least that is the first thing that you would need to have clearly as to what is it that you want to get out of life. Now, toward the end of the webinar, I'm going to show you a book that that will help you to find more direction. Cool. Now let's say, so we do know what we want. Now something might occur on that line. Okay, so basically number one was having goals. Okay, now what we're going to look at next is barriers. So a barrier, I'm just going to read it from my paper. A barrier would be a material formation or structure. A material formation or structure. Or something immaterial that obstructs or impedes. In other words, let's take Joe again. Joe's got certain goals, but right now he's running into barriers. He's just running into something. Now, okay, so let's say Joe has as a goal, he wants to do a successful job interview. And the result is that he gets hired. He gets hired. That's his goal. All right? So I would like to ask you, what could be a material type of barrier that would prevent Joe to get hired? What could be some kind of a material type barrier structure that would prevent Joe to get hired? Just come up with any answer, doesn't matter. Okay, a cheap suit, lying. All right, interesting. His own mind. Okay, poor performance in the interview. Nicolene says suppression. All right. Maya says bullying. It's all very interesting answers, guys. Because actually, you're already running ahead, giving me answers on the next question, which is what could be an immaterial barrier? In other words, what could be a mental barrier, right? So your answer is actually spot on. Yeah. Don't believe in himself, not working at all, lazy, low self-worth, right? In other words, we got here mental barriers. And it's kind of interesting because when we look at what we want to achieve in life, then if you ask people like, but why aren't you getting it? It's not always that you get the mental barriers kind of answers. They might say, well, it's too far away, or it doesn't pay enough, or I don't know, I have to take 3 buses to get there, or the working hours are not from 9 to 5, but they are from the late afternoon till midnight. And you will get into all kinds of structural barriers, right? What's very often overlooked is the mental barriers. So we're on to something here. Let's say first we know we know what our goals are, well, that's the number one thing that would contribute to your self-esteem, your self-love, at least knowing your direction. Now, if you would be able to overcome the barriers, of course, you're going to be reaching your goals. So the number two thing here that is preventing us from reaching goals and preventing us from being happy and having the advantage, which sums up to self-love, is we're running into our own mind. We're running into our own barriers. Okay, now there's an interesting thing on that, and 19th century psychology did not solve this problem. It did not solve the problem of mental barriers. And how do you get over that? How do you fix that? Now, that they didn't solve it, that doesn't mean that there isn't any solution, because there is, but you probably have never heard about it. Okay, so we're going to cover that in a bit. I want to go to number 3. Number 3 would indeed be your mental baggage. Now, quick question. I got a quick question for you. Have you ever had the thought that if certain things wouldn't have happened in your life in the past, that you would be happier today? Have you ever had that thought, ever had that feeling that if certain things wouldn't have happened in your life, maybe painful incidents, painful moments, moments of losses, maybe traumatic experiences, whatever you consider is there. Maybe you ever had that thought that if such and such wouldn't have happened, you'd be a happier person now. Did you ever have that feeling? I'm just going to look at your chat, trying to stay in the camera. I should be moving over here. That's a bit better. All right. I have to get used to being in the camera sometimes still. Okay, good. Let me see. Where am I? Guys, you're so much chatting. I love that. That's really, really, really nice. Okay. Let me see what I can do with the mouse here. Okay, so good. So there we go. Absolutely, says Michelle. BJ says, yes, a lot. All right. Maya, yeah, if I didn't go out with a narcissist. Very good. Okay. Damini, no regrets at all. I think everything that happens is a lesson to become a far better version of myself. Very true. It's like shedding a skin to grow. That's beautiful. All right. Maya, people weren't as mean. Understand that. All right. Emerald says, yes, suffered a lot of rejection. Maya, if there was peace rather than war, that's for sure. Okay. Angela, abusive childhood, 2 abusive relationships. BJ, brain injury. Okay. Fornfeld, sorry to be late. No worries. That's all good. Robert, child abuse. Okay, good. So what we get here is this. Let's say we make a scale of vitality. So, and you're somewhere on that scale, yeah? Let's just take a very, very simple example. Let's take a child. And the child is, let's say, cheerful. The child is cheerful. He's got a lot of energy. He's running around, got tons of energy, is playing with other kids, running, all of a sudden trips. Goes flat on her face, hurts her knee, and now she's in pain. You know what pain is. Pain is just painful. They're no longer smiling. You're not supposed to talk to them. You're not supposed to touch them because everything is painful. So that child just made a dip from being happy, being cheerful, going down to pain. Now what you would often see is this. So we got cheerfulness, a lot of energy. Something happens here. Now we fall down to pain. Life seems to continue from that point onward. Now, what you'll see in kids, the younger ones, they're very resilient. They rebound very, very easily. Right? It's like a spring. A spring can just be compressed and it can rebound again. So in a kid, you would just see that kid 5 minutes later jump up, be cheerful again, right? Now, unfortunately, that is not always the case when we get a bit older and we suffer some more serious losses or we suffer from some serious incidents. And now we might get this situation where something major incident took place in your life, it changed you, and you didn't know how to rebound. You ever had that feeling? You ever had that feeling that you couldn't get as happy as you were before? You somehow didn't know how to rebound? And that is basically at such a point, you are going to walk around with some baggage. And that baggage, it contains pain, it contains painful emotions, you're hurting, and it might be because of losses, it might be because people have actively been destroying who you are, your reputation, your goals, your purposes, your possessions, and you now have mental scars. Yeah, all right. Thank you, Nicolene. You're trying to rebound. Yeah, that is very good. So now we got mental baggage, right? That is number 3. Number 3 is mental baggage. Now, yes, I'm going to get into that. Emerald, thank you very much. How can we get rid of this mental baggage? Yes, Maya, thank you very much. Now, I have a quick question for you. Yeah, I have a quick question. What happens to you, let's say, physically or emotionally, when you think back of such a moment? What happens to you physically or emotionally when you think back of a painful experience in your life? Does the emotion come back? Does it affect your feelings again? Okay, you say, all right, I cry and I get weak. My heart hurts. Samantha, feel the same feelings again. Right. Okay, now let me. Juliana, yeah, heartbeat faster. Angela, it's intense, distressed, depression. BJ, not as bad, but still feel down. Okay. Feel upset and frustrated. All right. So here's a question. Here's a question. We're gonna go into that, yeah? We're gonna go into that. Nicolene says, other problems. I assume you say other problems start to arise, right? You know, it's kind of like you have one problem, now you see more problems. You see more bears on the road. Now, here's a quick thing. So, if you would think back of such a moment, even inadvertently, perhaps even unconsciously, it's just something in the environment that triggers you, and all of a sudden you got that feeling again, that emotion again. Here's the question. Can you just shake it off and say, all right, no, this is not going to happen. I'm going to turn the knob, right? And I'm going to be cheerful now. Are you able to just shake that off and not let it overrun you? Are you able to do that, or would you say, well, no? Nicolene, that's very good if you can do that. That is really good. All right, Samantha says, no, you have to do something to change your mood. Exactly. Exactly. All right, so I did a little sketch here of a person with some baggage and a lightning symbol. Okay, so let me do another sketch for you guys. First of all, it's very key to understand what actually is happening here. What is the mechanism? What are the mechanics? Let's just go into that first, right? So we have a mind, and this mind is like a long film. It has recordings. If I would say primary school, you get a picture, most likely. You can see primary school again. If it would ask you, have you ever had a dog or a cat or some kind of a pet animal? You probably get a picture coming to your mind. If I would say, well, can you remember one of the jobs that you had and its location? You probably get some pictures, right? So these are the recordings. Your mind has recordings. That would be, let's say that's that. It's like a whole bunch of pictures, right? You make tons and tons and tons and tons of pictures. That's your mind. Now, if you would think of primary school, for example, you might get a vision of the classroom again. You might again see, oh, the teacher was sitting over there. If I would sit here, the teacher would sit over there, the blackboard would be over there, here's the windows, and there's the door, or something like this, right? You see a three-dimensional image in your mind. Now, you could ask a person a question like, can you remember a moment that you were happy? Can you remember a moment that you were happy? And you can just repeat that question a couple of times if he doesn't come up with something right away. And he said, oh yeah, you know what? The day I got my diploma, or the day I got hired, or the day I got married, or the day my child was born, or whatever, right? And he gets the picture, and he gets the emotion as well. He can have that emotion of happiness again. Likewise, if you would ask a person, can you remember a moment that you lost, something that was really dear to you? He'll feel the loss again. He'll feel the emotion of pain, emotional pain coming back to him. Now, likewise, let's say you talk about a blood test with a person. You say, well, you know, can you imagine that you're having a blood test Just stretch your arm and just imagine that, they're gonna sting you and take some blood. And some people, a lot of people actually, I tested it many, many times. But on average, what I found was like 50% would actually feel this sting. The needle is not in there, but they have the recording and the pain is recorded. And they can now feel it in their elbow again. They will just pull back the arms. Oh gosh, I can already feel it. In other words, your mind stores all that data. It stores your emotions. It stores your feelings. It stores physical pains. It's all there in your mind. Now, in the case of physical pain and painful emotion, that is in there, but it actually becomes a bit detrimental to you and your survival. So there's something there, like pain, which is a physical pain or a mental pain, okay? And it's stored. It's stored in the mind. And when a person thinks of it, that pain can actually get reactivated. And he can now feel that on his body. Very, very simple example. You probably, all of you probably seen that. You have to do a speech at work or maybe for your group or maybe at school, and you got the knot in your stomach, the butterfly feeling in your stomach. You got that feeling of anxiety. Now you notice that your legs, they became kind of shaky. You felt like you had no power in your legs. And you started to transpire, to sweat, in other words. And you got a dry throat all of a sudden. You felt very, very thirsty. Felt like you needed to drink. But it didn't matter if you drank a glass or another glass or another glass. You kept on having that dry throat. Maybe you're familiar with these sensations. In other words, there was something here that turned on and it now controlled you. And the point was, you couldn't shake it off. You couldn't turn it up and say, okay, I'm not doing this. You couldn't shake it off. There was something there that controlled you, and you didn't control it. Right? There's a part of the mind that does this. Now, the other thing is that it also seemed to kind of like cancel your memories. It put a big barrier there. And you kind of like, gosh, what was I going to say? I don't remember. I don't remember what I was going to say. And you couldn't access your memories. So what you have here is what people would call self-sabotage. Now, when that happens, you are most likely not going to do what you intended to do. Let's say you wanted to talk to your boss to discuss the hours or to discuss your job, but then all of a sudden you got that ugly feeling in your stomach, and you all of a sudden had a lot of self-doubt, and you said, no, well, let's better not do it. Or let's say you had to make this important phone call, or you had to go into a kind of like a confrontational talk with somebody, and it just scared the F out of you. So you're like, no, I don't think I'm going to do that, because there was something there that held you back. So here's a question for you guys. Here's a question for you guys. Have you ever experienced that you got that knot in your stomach, that anxiety feeling, the butterfly feeling, and you didn't do what you intended to do? Have you ever seen that? Yeah, Sharon says, okay, that's one of the most annoying feeling for sure. Yes, right. Many times, especially when I teach. Yes, yes, a lot. All right. Okay, guys. So, but at least right now, what we do see the mechanics. Yeah, we do see the mechanics. Now I'm gonna let you in on something. I think we just have the time there. Let's say over here, let me see if I can make a little sketch for you guys. I'm going to give you an idea how it works, yeah? I'm going to give you an idea, how does this work? How does that mind, or a certain portion of your mind, actually fool you, play tricks on you, hold you back? How does that work? Let's imagine here, somewhere way earlier in time, you got bitten by a dog. Yeah, it's somewhere there, somewhere back in time. And you have some recordings of it. You got bitten by a dog. Now, you lost a lot of blood. You had to be taken into an ambulance to a hospital. They had to jab you with a tetanus shot and rabies, or gosh, I don't know what they put inside you. They had to stitch you up, and it was, you know, we were too young, too little to understand. It was hurting a lot. So you went through all that, right? So that was painful. Now, let's say here we are in present time, and you're running, and you're going down the street, and all of a sudden, there is a dog there, which is a bit similar to the one over here. What is your mind going to do? What's your mind going to do here? What do you guys think? Let me go to the other side. Hopefully I can be a little bit in the camera. Gosh, hard thing. I need to move a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. All right, so your mind's going to tell you to avoid it, right, Samantha? Okay. Gonna make me feel less scared, probably. All right. Good. Beatrice says stay away. Okay. Yeah, that's the picture here. Yeah, the dog is right there, right? And you got a bad experience with a similar dog. So now, how is your mind going to respond on this? Well, it's very simple. Your mind's going to make the mistake. It's going to make the mistake to think that this dog is the same as that dog. In other words, this dog poses an equal amount of danger as the dog over here. But this is where it's where the mind has got it all wrong, because what happened 30 years ago is not the same as what's happening right now. This dog is not the same as that dog, right? This location here and the setting is not the same location here and the setting here, right? So that's where we make the mistake. You say, well, Eric, you know, that's no worries. I don't have any problem with dogs at all, so don't bother me with dogs. Okay, no, that's fine. Let's say we had a problem. We had an altercation that turned into a big fight. now it's not a dog, but it's a person. So I hope you get my drawing. I just replaced a dog for a person. And now we're looking at the boss. So, I don't feel comfortable in talking to my boss. It is a very, very same mechanism at play here. Your mind is simply trying to tell you to stay the F away from an imagined danger. In other words, it's going to hold you down and hold you back from the things that you want to do. Every time that you have that knot in your stomach, the anxiety feeling, your mind is essentially telling you, don't go there. And it can turn on a little bit, or it can turn on so much that you feel that you're almost fainting. So that charge, that control factor over there, it can just be a little bit to cause some self-doubt, or it can cause a bit more that you feel like, oh, I start to feel very, very uncomfortable. Or it can cause a lot more that you feel like, gosh, if I don't take a walk right now and disappear from the scene, I'm going to faint. It can do all that. Now, so in other words, that is going to cause you to give up on your goals. Does that make sense? Have you ever seen that you're giving up on your goals because the actions itself made you feel uncomfortable? Have you seen this? As we go back to the very, very beginning, remember the barriers where we started the webinar. We spoke about the barriers. Remember? Goals, barriers. So now my question is that, have you ever seen that you gave up on certain things, certain purposes or goals, because the actions that you needed to do made you feel uncomfortable? In other words, that thing kicked in to some extent. Have you seen this? BJ, all right, giving up before I even try. Right? Kareem, yeah, but small goals. Okay. Thank you, guys. All right. So there's something there that's holding you back. This is a factor there that is limiting your potential. Now we know what it is. Now we know that it is. And actually, we can actually undo it. We can fix that. Okay, now, this thing over here, we can even go to the next stage and now do something that is actually destructive. So first of all, let's say we want to do something, but it makes us feel very, very uncomfortable, and it makes us feel stressed. So instead of going that direction, we're going to take the other direction, and we're going to do something destructive to ourselves or to somebody else. Like, well, you know what? I need to feel better, so I'm just gonna get drunk in order to get rid of the stress. I'm just gonna get drunk to somehow relax. Or, you know what? I feel so damn frustrated. You know what? I'm just gonna go into a bar and I'm gonna hook up with somebody and I'm gonna get laid tonight. No matter who it is, don't care about it. But something destructive. We say, well, you know what? Give me this 3 drugs. I'll take anything. I'll just take anything to get rid of that feeling. And you went the other way. Have you ever seen that? You ever seen that? Instead of going into the positive direction, like goals attainment, you now say, you know what? Well, screw that. You know, nothing I can do about it anyway. So I'm going to resort to drugs or whatever, something destructive. You've probably seen that, right? So BJ said, I would love to see everything plus with pure innocence, not be scared of doing anything outside the comfort zone. Okay, Nicolene, you don't drink or drug. That is very good, Nicolene. All right, cool. Now, so the solution here, well, of course, you guessed it. The whole thing is that we cannot erase memories. That is not possible. We cannot erase memories. However, what was discovered was that we can erase the pain. We can erase the pain from the memories. When you erase the pain from the memories, that here, then the pain will not come back as a control factor. And it's wiped out of your system. The painful memory itself, it's kind of like discarded into the trash bin by your own mind, and like gotten a label, has no value, no need to remember. And the self-sabotage actually stops. Then what happens? The person looks at a dog or another human being, but is no longer negatively affected by his own mind, that he has to interpret that situation in a certain standard way, which is detrimental to his own survival. All right, I'm going to give you, so now we have goals, barriers, mental baggage, which is all covered here. We got 8 more minutes. I have a little concept to end off, like what it is that limits our self-love, right? Affects our self-love in a bad way. And before I'm going to put the name down, I'm going to give you a little example. Let's say we got Joe. Now, Joe is an American, right? So he's got this American mailbox. He's got that mailbox sitting on a pole outside, right? And he's walking over to his mailbox, and he finds a very, very positive letter. Like fantastic news, very, very positive news. What is going to happen to Joe's emotion? Kira, hello everybody. Well, hello Kira. All right, so Joe's emotion is going to go up. Oh, thank you very much, Nicolene. All right, Angela is going to be happy. Good. So now let's imagine, what are you drinking? All right, so, well, that's my smoothie cup. It's got full of stains, but I use it for smoothie. I also use it for tea. I got a bit of a sore throat. You probably heard me tonight. And so what I have in there is ginger tea, cloves, cayenne pepper, and honey. I absolutely love it. I drink that all day long. Kyle, go up, spike in dopamine levels. Oh, we're gonna get very, very scientific here. Fantastic. Thank you, Eli. Very healthy. It's absolutely delicious. Yes, Kyle copied it so he can tell. All right, good. So his emotion is gonna go up, yeah. Good. All right. Now let's imagine he's got another mailbox here. So the next day, Joe is going to the mailbox. And he finds an absolute horrendous, very, very negative letter. What's going to happen to Joe's emotion? The next day, he's getting a terrible message. Very negative. What is going to happen to Joe's emotion? BJ will be angry, feel negative, feel sad. All right. The emotion's going to drop, yeah? It's going to drop. You can read the positive letter again or be sad with a new one. It's going to feel really bad, depressed. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Saren. All right, good. So one moment his emotion is up. The next moment his emotion is down. Remember when I just mentioned vitality? Having experienced things in life that you would rather not have experienced. So here's vitality is going up. There's the vitality is going down. All right. So now let's do a trick here, and let's replace the mailboxes for persons. So we got one person here who's always very positive. He's making compliments. He's encouraging. And we got this other guy here who's always dealing in bad news. Criticism. Derogatory comments. Joe happens to be connected. Joe happens to be connected to both. So one is always trying to cheer him up and pull him up, and the other person is always trying to pull him down. As a result, Joe is going to roller coaster. His life is going to be like a roller coaster. If he is here in the positive area, he will have hope. He will be dreaming about the future. He might have hopes that he might actually reach his goals. If he is there, he is hopeless. He doesn't see any future. He sees problems. Here, he's lifted up. He feels good about himself. There, he's down, and he feels very, very bad about himself. Have you seen this in your life? Or have you seen this in the life of somebody else? Nicolene, yes. Samantha, yes. All right, yep. Yes, abusive partners, exactly. All right, guys, so number 4. Number 4, we actually call that suppression. Joe is actually suppressed by others so that he cannot really be who he wants to be. He cannot really do what he wants to do. He cannot really have what he wants to have because there's somebody that simply won't permit it. All right, so here you got the 4 dominant reasons for a lack of self-love. Not knowing what you want in life, constantly running into the barriers, accumulating your mental baggage, dealing with suppression. This actually all leads to a very, very bad self-esteem or sense of self-love. Now, did it make some sense so far? Did you get something out of this? Yeah. Okay, very good. Makes sense. Beautiful. So I got this stuff. I got the majority here of the stuff out of a book which is called A New Slant on Life. Right? It's an international best-selling author. He's 4 times in the Guinness Book of Records. Sold in excess of 100 million copies of books. And this book actually deals with tools for improving your own image, yeah, your happiness and your own advantages. Let me see if I can find perhaps a nice quote. All right, let's just, this is from a chapter which is called, Is It Possible to Be Happy? On page number 11. Man now understands a great many things about the universe he lives in, which he never understood before. And amongst the things which he now understands is the human mind. The human mind is not an unsolved problem. Before, the problem wasn't solved. However, that doesn't mean that it hasn't been solved now. In modern times, the most interesting miracles are taking place all across this country and across the other continents of Earth. What do these miracles consist of? They consist of people becoming happy. They consist of people becoming well. They consist of people who were unhappy becoming happy once more. They consist of abolishing the danger inherent in many of the illnesses and in many of the conditions of man. We go to, for example, there's a chapter here on the man who succeeds. And it says there, for example, on page 128, for the first time in man's history, we can predictably raise intelligence, increase ability, and bring about a return to the ability to play a game and permit man to escape from the dwindling spiral of his own disabilities. And then you have, for example, very, very interesting chapter on the antisocial personality. It's my own book, so I've highlighted a couple of things. The antisocial personality. There are certain characteristics and mental attitudes which cause about 20% of a race to oppose violently any betterment activity or a group. Such people are known to have antisocial tendencies. Where life, on the next page, where life has become rough and is failing, a careful review of the area by a trained observer will detect one or more such antisocial personalities at work. What I'm trying to tell you guys, tonight I wanted to present you some data that you can think about and try to show you some of the mechanics which are at work in our lives, that when we know these mechanics and when we actually know what is happening, and when we do have the information on how to solve it, we can actually do that. Just like a mechanic has the information and training on how to fix a car, he can just fix a car every time. What we never learned was how to fix ourselves and how to fix life. And once you get that information, you can fix yourself and you can fix your life. Now, to end off, we have a little poll. Do we have a poll, Pavel? Do we have a poll? Let's give a quick look. If there was a poll, if there is no poll, then fine. A survey, right? Okay. So the difference between a poll and a survey is, now normally the poll is done during the event. The survey is usually an in itself type of activity with results that will come later. All right, here's the poll. And I have not seen the poll. My colleague designed it, but I think it says I want to know more, I would like to talk to Erik. Yeah, and me, I like to do that because I always like to make friends, you know. For me, my wealth is not in my pocket, but my wealth is in the number of friends that I have. So do me a favor, quickly open the poll, put your answer. It helps us to see if we're doing the right thing. Sir, excuse me, but one random question. Why are some letters are randomly capital? Gosh, I have no clue. Like I said, I didn't I didn't design the ball, man. I've been very busy. I've been occupied the whole day and basically been busy up till 6 o'clock. I had at one time to 1 hour, 45 minutes to have my dinner break, or rushed up here to the webinar room to give a webinar, but I actually did not see it. Okay, well, anyway, I hope you're fine with that. Sometimes might just be the fun of the designer to get some extra attention. Oh, you mean on the board? Randomly capital. Yeah, I know. I was never really able to get that out of my system. Like, for example, I can do an E like this, and then the next time you see me do an E like that. So it's I don't know. That's just a habit of mine. That's what I do. So some are capital, you know, but that's no meaning. Yeah, there's something off in my whatever, in my writing skills. But actually, I'm happy that you brought it up. You know, you should always communicate. More communication is always better than less communication. I appreciate that you asked the question. Doesn't bother me at all. I'm happy that you asked me the question. Yeah, feel free to ask anything. That's the good thing. That's how you know your friends. You know, your friends will be able to have your questions. If they don't, like these, please remove them out of your circles. You know, your friends should be able to have your communication. Okay, now, in any case, if you want to have, if you're interested in the book, it's 17 euros. It goes into how to improve relationships, how to find and reach your goals, how to better yourself. It's basically a toolbox for life. Yeah, just like a mechanic would have a toolbox to fix a car. This here is a toolbox to fix you and your life. You find a lot of answers there that you probably have been looking for a long time. All right, so it is past 9 o'clock. Like I said in the beginning, we were trying to keep it to strictly 1 hour. Thank you so much, guys, for being here tonight. I want to let you know that tomorrow night we do another webinar specifically on the mind. It's 1 hour earlier. It's not at 8 o'clock. It's at 7 o'clock. So that is up tomorrow night. If you want to come back, you're very welcome. So we're going to do another hour tomorrow night, and that will be it for this week. Next week, we are back again on Tuesday. So once again, thank you very much. I hope you had a great night. I see some nice comments coming in. Very happy with your feedback. Very happy with all the chatting going around. I hope you had a good time, and I do hope you have a great rest of your evening. In any case, if you have any questions, just notice you can always ask me. I'm always available. Bye for now.